We're back on, we're live. This is even better than before because this morning actually my internet, my entire power went off as I was busy preparing for this. So I was just about to head over to my friend's house up the hill because we had no electricity, no power, no internet, no computer. So at least we're on live. Let me plug this in, speaking of which. So thank you, Divine Mother, for all the tricks of this particular gathering. And as I was saying before, we're a fractal, the way that we're coming together right now, all of us that are here. There are so many powerful healers in this space right now, all of you that are part of the community that's coming together to steward in this massive change that we're in the middle of. And my prayer is that of all the things that could come out of my mouth in the next 60 minutes, that they're the most helpful for the most people in this space possible. And let's all take a moment to center and ground. Maybe even if you have a moment, close your eyes. And let's connect into the prayer that we have as a fractal, as a community of light, coming together to harness our collective intention in this field. Rooting down into the earth. Reaching up towards the heavens. Letting the light pour down from above into our cranium, crowns. This bright white light into our throat. Chakra into our hearts. Feeling this light all around us. Completely immersed in this field of light. And then with our hearts, as it comes into our hearts, letting this light turn into a pink light that we extend out to all of the people on this call. So we're gathering together our energy, our collective heart power, our collective intention to be unified in this elevation of our consciousness. And feel the pink light coming from all of each of us in this community so that we have one heart, one soul. Notice how we're all sharing this collective soul, this light that we all are unified in. Thank you so much, everybody, for making the time to sit together and come together. It's incredibly helpful for me to have this sense of ally and community. And if anything goes off with we have a message over there, and we'll do the best we can to keep it going. So this is the time that we have all prepared ourselves for. This is the time that all of our practices, all of our Reiki, all of our meditation, all of our Jedi training that everyone has been engaged in for your most, for many of you, most of your lives. this is the time now that we will really need to stay focused in that. And this is, this is a time of collective unity possibility. We're coming together in new ways. For example, this call, all of us coming together in this particular way from so many walks of life and so many people that did trainings with me over the years. And there is a great solace in us holding each other right now, even though physically we have this distancing, but socially we are connected more than ever, and certainly spiritually. So it's not given to us to know where we're headed right now, right? In fact, it's given to us to not know and step into this not knowing, and find some kind of peace and solace in this absence of having a knowingness about where we're headed. So it's a time where we can strengthen and polish our inner truth and be in correct alignment with the higher powers. There are beings of the pure light all around us, everywhere, just waiting to help. So as soon as we bring our attention towards the light and ask for that assistance, it's on. They are here. And many of you have been doing that practice for a long time now. So I'm going to try to keep things as simple as possible as we move through this particular fractal of what wants to come through this morning. There's a invitation to allow this to come into your hearts in whatever way is appropriate for you. If anything doesn't resonate for you, that's fine. Just kind of opt out, whichever part doesn't feel unified. So I was thinking about this idea of herd immunity and how we're creating this herd field, this synchronized field with each other, and how that's part of that channel that's coming through right now is to reach out to each other and be in this connected resonance. That is kind of the frequency of herd immunity, is to be in this collective resonance of light. So it's on. We're doing it. There's a particular kind of radiance that comes through, and the way that one of the ways you know that we're ready for this and we're connected is just by the fact that we're all on this call together. This is a particular, if the world is, if the universe is there aligned for us to grow, and just the fact that we're all gathered right now is a particular knowing that we're ready for this shift that's coming in. So there's a magic that's happening, a magic that's unfolding, that we're all a part of and we're all contributing to. These times do require a particular kind of focus and discipline and self-care in order for us to fully step into the alignment that's being called on us right now. We need mastery of our intention, our sankalpa, this morning practice that many of you have been doing with me. Thank you for that. I feel you each morning, and I'm inviting everyone else to join in that, and I'll go over that meditation in a few moments. But we're being called to align with these frequencies of higher energy, of light, of connection, and love. No longer are there old ways serving us. So this virus has a clear message right now for all of us, right? Of stopping, noticing, being still, and the really holding our feet to the fire of this particular moment. It's not an easy moment, and it's easier sometimes to get swept up in the field of frequency. That's the field of fear that's coming in so strongly from our collective consciousness. Really to help clear ourselves from that field. And this requires an energetic overhead. What's going on collectively in our environment to mitigate the fear frequency requires a particular kind of sword in the ground, energetic overhead need to have more moments of practice, more moments of meditation, more moments of time in nature in order to get not swept up into the collective consciousness. This is vitally important for our immune system as well. So the counsel is to go inward, to ground energy and commit more to the practices. And that may include reducing your exposure to the media. I've heard a lot of online counsel of like, watch TV, get on social media, ignore what's happening, like just disassociate so that you don't leave the house. But we all know that there's something much deeper to be harnessed in a time of collective pause. So I do invite this deepening of our practices for all of us at this opportunity. And it takes some time to notice what kind of teaching this is that's happening right now on our planet, this viral spread, this particular fractal that's coming in. It's going to take some time of listening to really hear in for all of us, and I invite us to share that, what kind of virus this is, what kind of change is happening on our planet. It's certainly a huge invitation to slow down and reconnect to ourselves, our roots, the earth, and has the breaking of an illusion that, oh, whatever, just keep going with all of our day, keep moving, keep destroying the planet, keep consuming. It's like it's no longer sustainable. It's not a way that's going to keep moving. And this virus is requiring us to take a massive break and stop and notice. And a lot of this is that prayer to break the illusion, right? To stop the movement long enough that we can slow down and notice what's happening and have a pause. So these pauses, whether they're in our own moments or now we have a collective environmental global pause, are opportunities for us to stop and pivot and allow in another kind of shift in our awareness, in our consciousness. And this phase is going to come to an end also, right? This too will pass. And so there could be a time in a decade from now or whenever when you will say, look back at this time and wonder, what did you do with it? What was the shift for you? What happened during this time? And in this moment, contemplating what is the best possible outcome for you as you have this moments of stillness and inner reflection. We don't know what, but everything for sure is going to be different once we emerge. I could imagine some of us will go back to some parts of the planet will go back to that more frenetic frequency, but I think actually this is a slowing down in general for our entire planetary system. I think the old ways of fiery doing, going, rushing, busyness, this might be the shift that we've been calling in into a more mindful, slower paced, simpler life. It certainly seems to be what's presenting in the moment. So I was thinking about Nimoy as like, she's going to remember this time. Our children are going to look back at this time and be like, that was the time before that. What was it like? So, so go deeper, check it out, see what's there, what's possible, what's the potential for movement that's or non-movement that's available right now. And how this happens is a mystery. We need to be very gentle with ourselves right now and cultivate our intuition and listening qualities. This is the hidden path of magic. But it is vital that we keep our guidance system open right now. So that is through that connection to the light for all the practices of dropping in and connecting and holding ourselves in this higher frequency of the light that our not only our immunity but our knowingness of what's the next moves to make. How our inner guidance system is tracked by our connection to the source. So we mainline the connection that can then channel us into making in the moment powerful choices. So this is not the kind of stability that comes from knowing, planning out, having a clear sense of, well, if this happens next, then I'll do this. And then if that happens, I'll do this. This is a different kind of, it's not from the mind. This is like a belly dropping in, guiding us through into our direct connection to the beings of the pure light, the light, and our power in this way. So it seems to be important to clear any field of fear as we move forward in this way. And making a pause in this way for everything that feels uncomfortable. And let the inner, whatever the inner like uncomfortableness be exactly the pathway of growth and change. So again, reconnecting with the prayer that everything in the universe is aligned for us to help us grow and evolve. And with that, including this virus, right? Including all the energies, let's just make it very personal. So whatever happens in our personal relationships, in our inner, maybe it's a personal relationship with yourself, everything uncomfortable, stop, pause, notice, go in and clear. And as most of you have heard me say 1,000 times, the safest way is through the body. So I really counsel noticing when that sense of a frequency lodged in your body starts having your mind going around in circles. Like, well, maybe I should do this. Well, what about that? Well, and if this happens, da, 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 da. So yeah, it's the place where you're having the most difficulty right now that has the medicine in it that you need, particularly right now, to reconnect and strengthen and your guidance system with the source, with the light, with this Reiki, with the universal energy that's supporting all of us together at the same time. So in this way, we are able to meet whatever comes in our direction with equanimity, with calmness, with generosity, and a sense of empowered presence. We're either awake or we're asleep, as Gurdjieff says. So what it requires, the awake part, is that everything that comes is the golden ticket, the golden pathway towards transformation. And it's all very matters, like this is, I think it always matters, but this feels like this time it's particularly, everything seems like an omen right now. Have you noticed that where we go? Like, oh, that random conversation at the grocery store, like everything that comes in feels like it's so, everything has a message, And the more that we're connected to the light, the more that this becomes the way. It's like, oh, a conversation that passed me on the hill yesterday, just the few words that came out. Oh, right. That's very instructive. What does that mean for me right now? And that's the awake part. If we take it all as an awakeness, as an instruction, that's a way of being awake, or a byproduct of our awakeness. Is we're constantly listening to the next movement. So it's super important right now that we don't be in judgment of those who are riding a fear frequency. It's like, imagine they're little children who are scared. We're not going to be in judgment of them. We're going to hold them and love them. So this includes the beings that may not wish us well, right? The ones in our administration, the ones that maybe are not exactly thinking about our best interest. When we get caught up in their fear frequency, or the collective consciousness fear frequency, or in a judgmental pattern towards those that are acting from fear, the fear in their system kind of locks into our auric field. It's not helpful for us. So it's not what is happening, it's how it's happening that's important, right? I mean, of course it matters what's happening on a bigger level, but it's important that we tap into the resonance of love rather than judgment, because judgment is another offshoot of the fear frequency. And it also comes from a sense of victimization, a field of separateness, basically. So we don't want to become entangled with the fear of people that we're judging because they're in fear. Yeah. So part of this is an intention, and part of it is a project. There's the prayer, and then there's the practice. And practicing clearing and moving into the love field is what's the moment by moment way. We can intend all we want, but there's the daily practicing of these intentions. So um so we want to align ourselves to this universal frequency and the intelligence of the beings that are here to assist us, and send out the positive pure energy. And you can do this also with people that you love, people that you know. Send raking out right now to the people that are in fear. Obviously, if they don't wish to receive it, send it to the earth. But these prayers that we're doing, these dedications of our practices, at the end of your practice, holding your thumbs and with taking a deep breath in, with each exhale, sending out the benefit of your practice to all sentient beings. Doing that 3 times at the end of each practice to keep sending out all of our prayers to all of what's happening right now. This is a wonderful way to cultivate the generosity and the liveness in our hearts. And in this way, you could imagine that everybody is the Buddha coming here to help us love more. Right? Everybody that comes into our field, that even those that bother us, those that don't bother us, that all the Buddha in disguise trying to help us to find a new level of love, unconditional love. Okay, so let's see here. I wanted to give you some practical tips also for herbal suggestions and things like that. Um, so let's think first with let's this is the equinox just happened yesterday. This is the perfect time to redo your altar. Set your candles, set your intentions, set whatever you put on your altar is exactly what's needed right now for you, and also for the lifting up of our energetic field. And what we give our focus to has enormous importance. And so if we give our consciousness to the light of existence, the source of love, that's what is going to grow and expand in our field. We get calmer, we get clearer, we get lighter, and we become more connected with each other and with source. So bring in offerings of light, make offerings, paga la tierra, make offerings to the earth, to the spirit, to the pure beings that can assist in this process. I think some of you have seen my altar right now where I'm making offerings with flowers and water and perfume and fire and light every morning to these beings of the pure light, that these waves of consciousness can come in and assist in the process. So keep current, keep focused on your prayers, and having a physical manifestation of your prayer can be very helpful to focus and harness the energy that's available right now to transform and transmute, and the energy that's available to help us with all of this elevation of our consciousness. Choose carefully the company you keep. I know that most of us are not exactly hanging out with a lot of people right now, but what you listen to, what you tune into, what you follow, this is going to have great importance because these energies can get embedded into your system just by tuning into them. So choose carefully how you navigate that. There's only so much bandwidth we have to tuning in. So tune into that which is helpful and lifting, and that allows you to tap into more of the intuitive intelligence. Don't spend mental or emotional energy on the things that are not in service right now. We don't have enough time for that. Like the consciousness shift that's happening right now is important for us all to step into, and all of us to not squander this time of rest, not squander this time of slowing down with activity and weird content off of whatever channels are there. Yeah. So being to reside in vast open conscious space is incredibly important, and asking to bring in more of the frequency of love, connection, joy, and service. Okay, so we have a, there's been a very big tendency in our culture to seek outside of ourselves for the things that we need to stay in equilibrium, whether that's herbs, pharmaceuticals, whatever, the litany of things that we all have available to us to distract ourselves from what's happening. So my counsel right now, even though I'm going to give you some things, some herbs to take, but really the biggest thing we can do is this internal work to boost our immune system and stay healthier. And the tendency to be like, oh, if I just consume this thing, this will protect me, this will save me, this herb will do the thing. I really counsel you to shift that energy into your internal kung fu as you navigate this change. I'm going to do a couple of quick options. I just want to pull up some slides so you can see. And of course, I have to pull it up. So hold on one sec. 1 second. Um, okay, that's uploading. So while that's uploading, I'll keep going with this. Those of you who haven't checked out my Equinox blog, this is a great time to harmonize and synchronize with our what's happening seasonally. That's really important for our health. As many of you have heard me say 1,000 times, the first cause of death is birth, and the second is not living in harmony with the seasons and the cycles that are happening. So go ahead and check that out, and I'll try to do more of that soon. And then here's the slides. So let's start this one. So this is a formula that Yuping Feng San, it's a jade screen formula. You can take this. It creates a jade screen around us, they call it, that'll protect us from pathogens coming into our system. It's a very simple formula. It only has 3 herbs, and so I feel like it's a safer bet. Of course, it's always good to get a private consult to know if there's any contraindications for your system in particular, but Yuping Feng San is a wonderful general immunity tonic that can help protect and build up the immune response in an intelligent way. Another really easy go-to is using these mushrooms. There's many you can do. There's a combination of mushrooms that people put out. There's many formulas. I have tinctures in my clinic, but reishi, astragalus, all of these agar tonics, especially helpful for the lungs, can be an easy, safe bet to support immunity. I mean, again, if you're on a lot of pharmaceuticals or have other issues with your system, it was better to get a personal consult before taking random things. But there's some acupressure points that can be really helpful to strengthen our immunity. These are a couple of them here that I put. And massaging your entire ear morning and evening, just it gets the whole body is in the air, so you can get a lot of stimulate a lot of points just by massaging and releasing and clearing the entire system. So gentle massage through. You can do both at the same time. You can do it when you're brushing your teeth. Oh, brush teeth, massage ears. It's an easy way. The lung channel, you can do about a minute for the ears. A minute is a long time to massage the ears, and you'll probably notice that your whole body feels revitalized and awakened with that. Going over the lung channel right now can be helpful. You can start at the lungs. You can do a pounding or a tapping or a brushing. It goes towards the thumb. Doing that on both sides for a minute can be strengthening and tonifying, keeping the lungs healthier and clearer so that if they do come in contact with this virus, they're more likely to be able to overcome it. And then the stomach line. So that's starting at the knee and moving down that entire, let me say the lateral side of the tibia or the outside of that bumpy bit on your shin bone. You can do it right now as we're talking. So massaging down that line can help strengthen your ability to transform and transport the food that comes into your body and absorb the nutrients, and strengthen your general zhang qi, your upright qi, your ability to kind of nobly move through the things that come through into your but like I said, yeah, so let's see if there's any more here that feels good. Oh yeah, so if you find yourself moving into a fear frequency, putting your fingers here. You can use any finger's fine. You can use your little finger, and holding it just gently at that point can help calm and regulate the neuroendocrine system. It's called Shen Men. It's a point that helps connect us to the spirit gate. Helps us connect to the spirit and calm and centering point. And again, you don't need to massage it. You can just gently let energy flow from your little finger to that point. That's your heart channel on the little finger. And you'll probably notice right away if you do it right now as you're listening, kind of equilibrializing kind of pattern. Putting these in the diffuser can be very helpful, or just finding your local eucalyptus tree, picking some of the leaves, boiling them with lemon peels, orange peels, rosemary. Try to think of herbs that are just so available for us. I mean, depending on where you live, but they're often around here. So again, instead of buying more, you can just go to your garden, go to those eucalyptus trees if they're growing in your area, and pick the leaves, hang them in your shower, put them in a big pot, have it just boiling all the time, so that this is constantly coming and clearing the air and moving things through. And so I'm gonna go back to this idea that all of these things that I had so many more ideas, like maybe we'll do this again and I can share with you more suggestions that I have. But so the focus going again from outside consuming, it feels like that's one of the big teachings that's coming through at this time, from outside consuming more things to internal inner kung fu. And operating from our generous, compassionate hearts, also towards the environment. So this is one of the best immunity boosters I know, right? And you can help cultivate that through that offering prayer that we talked about, of sending out. And with that offering prayer, the thumb touches the ring finger. So as you do the offering, there's a certain channels that are activated in that way. So I usually have my hands on my knees. I don't think I can show you right now. Maybe I can. So my hands are on my knees, and then when I do the prayer, inhale, exhale, offer, and the fingers go out like that. Okay, so more practical things for the immune system, more rest, more time and quietness, right? I think many of you already got this going on. Let's see. So this is a time to really consider standing up and being counted, to really be a person that is going to be the change in your family, in your community. Like, the biggest impact of your shift is in your body and yourself, but that's going to first impact your children, your partner, your family, and then outward into the community. So we don't need to do massive, big acts necessarily. They can be small acts of kindness and generosity that will help elevate our consciousness and transform any muckiness, any other kind of field that's come in to cloud our system. And a lot of this will happen in those quiet moments when no one is watching, right? Like how we conduct ourselves has great importance. So it might be early in the morning. It might be when you have insomnia in the middle of the night. Talking about me, whenever we're in that moment, we're like, well, no one. It's like, that's the time to make the offering. Do your pranayama, do your prayers, drop in, connect with your body, with Great Spirit, and allow the connection to your intuition and guidance through that quiet solitude moments that are there. Okay, so we talked about sending Reiki out, sending out these prayers. Let's see here. Okay, let's talk about the frequency of fear right now. That is actually, let's a little bit more about this this stepping up thing. So many of you are stepping into a new phase of being leaders in your community, or being offering. Many of you are already teachers. already Reiki masters, this is the time to step up in a new way into your power. Whatever is that, if you're working one-on-one with people, if you're with your children, if you're on Zoom calls, just like stepping it up a notch and really being counted in this time. We need every person available in this transformation. So if we, if someone's at this level of consciousness and they rise to this level, it enables, like if there's 1,000 people here and we rise to here, it enables the 1,000 people rise to this level, then it enables another 100 people that are here to go to this level, and 10 people that are here to like completely become the beings of the pure light. So all that we do really matters. Like our shifts, our consciousness, this is impacting not just our own lives, but the entire elevation of this consciousness shift that we are calling in. So many of the children that are going to steward the massive shift happening have already been born, right? So our conduct with these kids is really important. They are what's they are going to be the mothers of the children that are going to be completely have a totally different nervous system. So all, humbly we can keep like making our prayers and transmuting the trauma and stepping into the more expansive place so that these children can be the mothers and fathers for the next generation of beings that are most likely going to be operating on a much higher frequency field than we'll ever, that's hard for us even to conceive of. So the frequency of fear on the planet is dialed way up. What can we do? How can we work with this in our own bodies? And the first part is that shifting our attitude into curiosity around the fear versus believing in the fear. And fear is basically a function of the taproot. It's evolutionarily there to help keep us alive back in the day. But fear is not the thing that's going to keep us safer. Fear will try to convince you that if you're afraid, you're safer. This is left over from when we're like tadpoley, If we get into fight or flight, elevated cortisol levels, like somehow we'll escape the danger. But most of us are not in that kind of danger. And so just moving towards fear as a fundamentally safe experience is a big part of this transmutation of consciousness that we're stepping into as a collective field. We can trust, right, that this is all divinely orchestrated to help us grow. And one of the big things that people are fearing right now is getting sick. And the second is financial ruin. And the third is the fear of change. Like things are changing rapidly. And so, those are like very compelling. Yeah, thanks, Stacy. No fear, totally. Those are really compelling ideas. And so the thing that's being called for is to really notice that simply as actually a resonance in the body. I'm going to open the blinds a little bit. It's got a little dark. So you all are powerful beings. And what we focus our intention on and our connection to manifests. And that's the basic idea that energy goes where our focus flows, or whatever that saying is. But the fear doesn't make us safer because the universe is vibrational. And so it's not the frequency of fear that's going to keep us in that place. The cells of our body operate most effectively with the frequency of love and light and elevated connection to the source, positive energy of our innate knowingness and our connection and our birthright to be connected to our divine light, right? So it's very important that we don't totally immerse ourselves in this idea from the collective field that fear is somehow will be more protected if we're afraid. So stress has a profound effect on our organism on every level, and it's not useful for us to our effort. And whatever puts us in our heart is what's going to really empower us right now. which is part of that dedication practice, like getting over ourselves a little bit in our own inner turmoil and sending things out. So the safest way that I know of is to work with fear in the physical body. The as these fear karmas ripen in our system, they're stored between our feet and the center of the earth. And there's also a collective karmic field that's ripened right now to be transmuted. This is part of what we're being called to do right now. So as this fear frequency karma rises up in our system, we can listen to, if we choose to, the voices of it. What if, how can, but, blah, 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 all the things that the fear frequency can say. So instead of trying to talk yourself out of that fear, like as we've talked about with some of you, the fear radio station is like, but what are you going to do about this thing? And how are you going to figure it? But like, that's all very nice, but blah, 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 blah. So that don't try to talk yourself out of any thoughts of fear that come into your mind. You have to change the radio station to a different channel. The mental mind vomit station is probably not going to be the one that will help calm and center you. So my counsel would be to drop into your body and notice the frequency of fear, the sensation level. How big is it? Where does it reside? What is it telling you? And noticing that that's not actually yours. You're not, it's a collective field. That can be clingy and attach itself to you. And it can do that over and over again throughout the day. That's a potential. So kind of noticing like, oh, that's that wave, these waves of fear. That they call them that for a reason, right? Like, so we can all be these transmuters of this particular energy. We can all have our sword in the ground, notice these waves from the collective consciousness coming in and anchor and name them as that, and then allow, I like to work with it as actually expanding the sensation of fear in my body so that it gets so diluted that it's no longer so compelling. It's like running from the fear usually makes it worse, right? Pretending that it's not there usually makes it worse. So it's really a process of opening the door of the closet and looking at it straight on, and allowing that 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 fear to shine the light on it. We'll do the little meditation in a few moments. When we recognize those energies in our system, we really have the potential to let them go at that point. Thank you for all of your comments. They're so great. They're so helpful. I'm like, yay. So this, as we notice systems, frequencies of fear, and then let them go, we step into this dancing presence of our hearts, right? We don't want to die with our song left inside of us. And not many years from now, all of these bodies, we will be dust. It'll be gone. This is not a long time that we have here on this planet. So really allowing yourself to fully dive into this process of transmutation now is something that we can do, not only for ourselves, but our entire collective. Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to step into meditation. So find yourself in a comfortable position. We're going to do a little invocation here and a clearing field for this fear, and setting an intention and a prayer for this from this moment going forward. So if any of this does not align for you, please simply opt out of this prayer. This is not in any way me attempting to co-opt you into something that isn't aligned for you, isn't right. First of all, I wouldn't want to do that anyway, and second of all, I would not want to rob you of the karmic merit of you having your own intention and prayer for yourself. So this is an offering, and if you are aligned with it, then let's do it. But either way, let's take a moment and really tap into our entire collective, all of us on this call right now that are holding together as family, our hearts, And I'm going to start with the blessing of the 5 elements, and then we'll move into the meditation. Angel of Earth, please purify our physical body. Angel of Water, please purify our astral body. Angel of Air, please purify our mental body. Angel of Fire, please sanctify our spirit. Angel of Ether, Akasha, please gather the quintessence. See a flame between your third eye. And step into it. And see yourself surrounded by this light, this fire, as you are connected and rooted down into the earth. Open up the crown chakra and allow this light to pour in through the crown, through the throat, into the heart, expanding down and around. And with each breath, this more light pours into the heart. And with each exhale, the light inside gets brighter and brighter in your heart. And within each inhale, more light. And with each exhale, brighter and brighter light that stays brighter with each breath. Until this light begins to expand and take up your whole body, your whole aura, your whole system. Each breath brighter and brighter. There's nothing you need to know, nothing you need to figure out. Completely surrounded in this light. Feel yourself bathing in this frequency of light. All of the cells of our bodies purified. All of our DNA upgraded. For those of you working with the Daikomyo, you can inhale the Daikomyo with a Daikomyo into your crown, to your heart, exhaling it out to all beings. Feeling this light expanding our aura, this bubble of light around us. And as we drop into this place of powered light, divinity, we can also hear the drum beats of our ancestors calling us to step into this higher level of consciousness. Our adopted ancestors and our blood lineage ancestors. We thank them, we honor them. We call on them for help at this time to steward us into this transformation and deeper alignment with the light. Beings of the pure light, we seek to align ourselves with the highest levels of intelligence and love as we step into empowering and connecting and uniting our community in a new way. We hereby release any frequencies of fear that cannot stand in this abundance of light in this moment. This light completely makes everything else. It's just all the light. Any frequency of fear can no longer live in this profound level of love and connection to this pure divinity. We breathe in more light. Exhale more light. And we notice that the more light that we breathe in, the more ability we have to reach for more light. So this light is exponentially growing inside of ourselves. Great Spirit, we want to be instruments of light in these times ahead. We humbly ask you to show us the way to this deepening of connection, consciousness, strengthening our connection to our intuition, the source, our inspiration, and our courage, which we now notice is a soft, loving stance. It's not the kind of courage we maybe thought it was going to be. It's a soft opening towards this light. We heal, release, and clear anything else that is not this light. That is not in service of the light or in alignment with these highest frequencies. We've come here to be in service to this shift. To be a source of solace to all of the beings that we meet. And to be a carrier of this light, refusing any temptation for spiritual ego, but humbly just offering, opening, and aligning to this pure intelligence. We ask for any and all help from the beings of the pure light in this process. any unconscious resistance to this intention will hereby be overridden by this intention, and that it may all happen in a way that feels joyful and buoyant and alive and curious and deeply aligned on every level of our being. Aho, Watakuyase. Thank you so much everybody for joining together in this collective prayer for more connection and light in our lives. And I love you. You're my heart. You are my family. And let me know if you'd like to do this again. I'm happy to do this more. And thank you for your love. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your Reiki. Thank you for your commitment. And yeah, we don't know what lies ahead, but our compass is clearly set. Remembering we don't need to know how to get out of the forest. We just need to point in our hearts due north on the compass of love and light to move through this and ask to be shown the way through. So I'd be thinking about you all in my morning meditation prayer, which is basically what we just did, sending you so much love and light. And if you want to join me with that morning prayer, I would love it. It's basically waking up at sunrise and sitting together and breathing with water. It's a water prayer. You can have your water, cup of warm water in your hands, and drinking the water with your intentions and your prayer and our connection with each other. Yay. Love you. Sweet to read all these messages. Oh, I love you all so much. It's so sweet. One thing that came through really clearly last night as I was sitting with all of you and feeling into what wanted to come through was this this idea of doing a new moon online retreat like this, where we would start on Tuesday and the new moon and kind of sit together each week and have different things that come through. So if you're interested in that, just let me know and I'll put it together.